to transform your life in 15 minutes. Here's your host, Pia McAdams.
I am smiling. Why? Because in the midst of everything that's going on in my life, I at least have one thing to be grateful for. I am alive. Good morning and welcome to Transform Your Life in 15 minutes. Do you know what the difference is between lying to yourself and lying to others? Well, when you're lying to others, you're aware of it. But when you're lying to yourself, guess what? You're not. Most times anyway. So this morning we're going to be talking about discovering your true self. Now, we talk about discovering your true self. When we talk about discovering your true self, is who you really are. We talk about, who we think we are, but I want you to know that who we think we are and who we really are two different things, because a lot of times, pretty much, make yourself aware of what's going on really inside of you. And keep in mind, we're underneath the umbrella of transformation. Okay, so we're talking about transformation, which is the total umbrella. But we're talking about discovering your true self. And guess what? Who you think you are is not really who you are. And how do you know who you are? Well, you have to be aware of finding out who you aren't. Okay, and that's how it works sometimes. Like, you think you know who you are. We think we know who we are. We say what we do. And by the way, those titles and those things, those traits that we think are giving us importance, they really don't. So this morning I'm going to be talking about, give you 3 different ways to find out who you really are when you're discovering your true self. Because how can you possibly love yourself when you don't know who you are? And that's why a lot of times when they hear the word like self-love and self-care, the first thing that comes to mind is, I love myself, I love myself. Because that's the first thing. Who a lot of people don't or will admit they don't love themselves, but those that say they love themselves, it's sort of like you just say that. But then when you think about how you're treating yourself, you don't treat yourself as nearly like you would treat like your animal or your best friend. You treat yourself worse. And why is that? Why do we treat ourselves? Look at my timer just went off as I was going to get it on. Why do we treat ourselves so badly? It's because we don't really know who we are. So I want you to understand that anytime that you're thinking, we talked about negative thoughts yesterday, and which is okay, but anytime that you're thinking, guess what? You're lying to yourself. Okay? Anytime you're thinking, we have over 70,000 thoughts that go through our mind on a daily basis, and 90% of those thoughts are negative or in the past. And guess what? Our ego lies to us. Our mind lies to us all the time. And if you don't believe me, all you have to do is just at any point, especially after you listen to what I'm saying, just go through the exercise and you'll find out. You'll be like, oh my God, I never thought about it. And guess what? Being aware is the first step. Okay, so awareness. And remember, in 5 minutes, that's what I'm bringing to your attention is the awareness. So how can you be aware that you're lying to yourself? Right? Well, number one, if you're saying statements that have I, me, or I, myself, or me, if any of those statements come out of your mouth, you're lying to yourself. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm talking about traits. So for instance, if you say I am hungry, chances are you might be hungry. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about things like when you say I am a nice person, I am this, I am that, a trait about yourself. You're lying to yourself. Because think about it. Why does the ego lie to itself or to you? It's because it wants to protect itself. It wants you to think that you're a nice person. Now, I'm not saying that you're not a nice person, but think about it. What is a nice person? Literally, it differs from one person to another. So what is nice? What does that mean to you? And then what happens when a time when you're not nice? Does that then negate that you're a nice person? So do you see what it means? So basically what I'm sharing with you is accept all parts of you, all parts, no matter the nice or the unnice. All right, so awareness. Another way that you can think that you're lying is when you try to rationalize away urges or feelings. Let's say, for example, someone says something to you that's mean and it hurts your feelings and you say, well, I'm not hurt. That didn't hurt me. You're lying to yourself. And by the way, I never did get to do the broadcast, and I'll probably do it another time when I talk. And actually, I've kind of interwoven it throughout. But that's why affirmations and positivity doesn't work for most people. Is because you're saying one thing, but you're feeling another. And that's what I'm trying to get you to discover is that there is a veil of lies So pierce through that veils and get to the truth. And sometimes the truth is not pretty, but at least when you're aware of it, you can deal with it. And once you shine that light on it, you can address it and then learn to embrace all parts of yourself. Okay, so we're still talking about awareness. Now, the third way that you can be aware that you're lying to yourself is when you're saying absolute statements like, I never do this or I always do that. Okay, I'm always on time. I'm a good person. I'm always on time. I'm punctual. I'm always on time. Okay, again, those are the ways that you can be aware that you're lying to yourself. All right, so then what do? Number one, to pierce through it all is let go of those identity and those traits because they're not bringing you any importance at all. Because think about it. If you're putting such credence on being nice, then what happens when you do the third thing, which I'm going to ask you to do, is say to yourself or ask yourself, well, what if? Like, what if I'm not nice? Seriously, what if I'm not a nice person? What if I'm not a good person? What if I'm not happy? What if I'm not this? What if I'm not that? That's when you start really discovering who you truly are, is because you understand that there's aspects of you that are nice and there are aspects of you that aren't necessarily as nice, or things that you're hidden, or things that are that you're denying, things that you're suppressing. And how can you truly love yourself if you're suppressing a big portion of you? All right, so that's why I want to share with you today is just be aware of who you are. Discover the whole essence of who you are. And I guarantee you that whole essence of you is beautiful, all aspects of you, the things that you consider good and the things that you consider bad. Because guess what? Good and bad is a polarity. Because we can talk about some things that are good, and some people agree that they're good, and some people say that they're bad. So don't put so much weight on those words, because they really only have the meaning that you give it to it. So when you're saying you're nice or you're good, that's just the meaning that you're giving to it. But when you're interacting with other people, what is it that you're projecting about yourself? All right, so discover who you really are so that you can really fully accept who you are. All right, so hopefully this information was useful to you. I know it's not. It's first thing in the morning. Remember, I'm smiling because when you're discovering all aspects of you, again, even the ones that are not nice, you can always, there's always an out to it. And I'm sharing with you the awareness because being aware is the very first step in every single thing, including discover who you are. All right, so that's all I want to say about that. If you do have any comments, no, I'd like to open up a dialogue about this. And honestly, I challenge you. As a matter of fact, I did this. I'll talk while I'm transitioning. I know how I am. I did this with my class last week, and I can't wait till tomorrow when they'll come back and tell me what they discovered. So what I challenged them with, and it was similar to this, I challenged them to think about their thoughts. And they were looking at me like, wait, what do you mean think about your thoughts? And I was like, no, seriously. At any point, just like say, wait, what was I thinking about? And I told them, I said, I guarantee you 90% of it was going to either be negative or in the past. So I'm anxious to see what anxious is not the right word, but I'm excited to see what they came up with when I do that. So I challenge that with you as well. I challenge you to think about your thoughts. And in case you're wondering, if you're wondering what I'm talking about, like think about your thoughts. At any given moment, just say, wait, what was I just thinking about? And then you'll see it was probably something in the past and or something that was negative. But then by being aware of it, then now you're aware of your thoughts, which is the steps through a transformation, is when now you get to control what's going on. All right? So in this 15-minute broadcast, we're doing 5-minute exercises, one each for the mind, the body, and the soul. And this is the portion of the broadcast where I invite you to do some yoga with me. So I say mind, body, and soul as if they're three separate things, but keep in mind the mind, body is a connection. Matter of fact, evidence. And I typically don't bring in or talk about the scientific research, but I guarantee you there is anything I'm talking about, there's been research. And I invite you to research. Like, that's why I don't talk about it, because I want you to do your own research. I want you not just listen to me, I want you to then use this as a catalyst to then go dive further into it, do more research. But anyway, now this brings us to the second section of the broadcast where we're going to be doing some yoga. And this is where I invite you to join me, get the interaction going on. I know for some of you can't join me now, but sometime today, remember, in the transformation, we talk about 5-minute exercises. Do something for yourself for just 15 minutes a day. That's all I'm asking, okay? One exercise for the mind, the body, and the soul. I just gave you like an awareness for your mind, talking about discovering your full self. So now we're going to move on to the body, and then last but not least, I'll lead you through a guided meditation for the soul. All right, so let me make sure you can see. Go ahead and meet me on the mat, and this time I'm feeling a little, not a little, I'm feeling a lot of movement. So let's go ahead and start off in the standing position, namely Tadasana, which is mountain pose. And let's go at the back of the mat. I know there's a reason why we started at the back of the mat. All right. So in Tadasana, you're going to stand with your feet slightly distant, hip distance apart. Your shoulders are drawn down and back. Your head is a natural extension of the spine. Pretend like a string extending from the crown of your head all the way up to the sky. Your fingertips are pointing down to Mother Earth. And we're going to draw our breath in through our nose. And as we do that, we're going to take the arms up overhead. And as we exhale, we're going to dive the body forward. Taking your full breath, full exhalation, take the time. And remember, just go down as far that is comfortable to you. So for some of you, depending on your flexibility, you may only go this far. Just go whatever far down is comfortable to you. And then when we go ahead, if we put our hands down, just bend your knees. So as we inhale, I want you to look up halfway. Flatten out the back, arch your back, and tailbone sticks out to the back of the room. As we exhale, I want you to forward fold. Now, as you continue exhale, I want you to inchworm your way out to the plank, and then release your knees, your chest, and your chin. And as we inhale, take it up to upward dog or cobra, depending on the flexibility. Exhale, take it down. Inhale, take it up. And exhale, take it down. Inhale, take it up. And as you exhale, I want you to curl those toes under and take it to downward facing dog. Ardha Matsyendrasana. Now this one, fingers and toes are spread out nice and wide. Palms are shoulder distance apart, and your feet are hip distance apart. You're pressing your chest toward your thighs and your knees. Head is in line with your biceps, and try to get those heels down. Now, as we inhale, we're going to bring that right knee into our chest, and as we exhale, extend that right leg all the way back. Let's do it again. As you inhale, bring that right knee into your chest, and as you exhale, extend that right leg all the way back. One more time. As you inhale, bring that right knee into your chest, and as you exhale, extend the right leg all the way back. Now go ahead and bend the knee to open up the hip. Now, by the way, I'm doing this in down dog, but you can always release that left knee to the mat and do the same thing from tabletop. Now go ahead and extend that right leg, and then in one swoop, go ahead and bring the foot all the way up to the fingertips, and let's take it up to the high lunge. Now again, your head's in alignment with your bicep. Your feet are facing forward. There we go. Arms are extended, fingertips up toward the sky. Now go ahead and bring the palms together at the heart center. And as you exhale, I want you to twist and rotate so the outer part of your left elbow is extending or touching the outer part of your right knee. Now your gaze is up, but if it's too much strain or stress, feel free to look forward and or look down. And again, if you need to, you can take it to low lunge by dropping that back knee and uncurl the toe. You can modify. All right, go ahead and extend it up. And then bring the palms down flat. Go ahead and release that knee. And as you exhale, sit the hips back. Now in this pose right here, I want you to make sure that your toes are pointed down, pressing your chest toward your thighs and your knees. And as you exhale, just kind of release and relax and surrender. Go ahead and flex the foot up. And then point the toes down. Again, flex the foot up. And point the toes down. All the time releasing. You should feel a gentle stretch in the hamstrings. Try to keep your back nice and flat. Now go ahead and place the foot down flat. Bring the palms down underneath your shoulders, curl the toes under, and let's take it to downward facing dog. Go ahead and pedal your legs. Sway your hips. Do whatever you need to make yourself feel good in this position. Now this is a resting position, so I'm using this, catching your breaths, nice deep ujjayi breaths. If you need to, go ahead and release your knees down and do the same thing with tabletop. Otherwise, on the next exhalation or inhale, go ahead and bring this left knee into the chest, and as you exhale, extend that left leg all the way back. One more time, 2 more times. Inhale and exhale. One more time. Inhale and exhale. This time, bend the knee, open up the hip. Remember, try to keep your head in alignment with your bicep. If you need to, release this back knee down, and you can do the same thing from tabletop. Now go ahead and extend that leg, and in one swoop, bring that left foot toward the fingertips. And again, we're going to the high lunge. Extend the arms down, press the hips down forward, hands in line with your biceps. Continue to breathe. On the next exhalation, bring your palms together at the heart center, and then rotate. Again, your gaze is over that left shoulder, forward or down. Now take your time. If you're losing your balance, remember you can always release this back knee, uncurl the toe, and do the same thing in a low lunge. Now go ahead and rotate back to the center. Release the knee down. Exhale. Draw the hips back. Keep the toes pointed. Back is flat. Relax your shoulder. I want you to breathe into the tight areas of your body. Go ahead and flex the foot. And then point the toes. Flex. Soft bend on that knee. And point. Flex. And in this time, pull it down. Bring the palms underneath your shoulders. Uncurl the toe. And take it to downward facing dog. Now try to get your heels down if you can, but if not, that's okay. Now I want you to inchworm your way back to your toes. And let's ragdoll here. Take your hands and clasp on the outer part of your elbows. Your body weight is evenly distributed between your balls, your feet, and your heels. The crown of your head is bring your body naturally forward. And as you exhale, surrender, release. Don't resist. Soft knees. Activate those kneecaps. And then release the palms down toward the mat. Walk your toes out. Your feet out so that they're in the outer part of the mat edge. And then slowly bring the tailbone down toward the mat. And then bring the palms together at the heart center to Balasana. And again, use your elbows to push out on your inner thighs. And I like including this particular pose in just about every single broadcast because it opens up your hip. And we spend a lot of times in the seated position, and so we have tight hip flexors. So if you're unable to get your heels down, that's okay. You can be on the balls of your feet. And then sometimes try to open up your legs just a little wider and get the tailbone down. But just do the best that you can do. And remember, it's on the exhales when you release and you surrender. All right, and walk my hands out to tabletop. I'm going to cross my legs and come to a comfortable seated position, facing forward, making sure that I'm on my sits bones and off the fleshy part of my body. Fingertips are down by your side. Now go ahead and draw your breath in. And exhale down. Again, nice deep breath. Inhaling in. And exhale down. One more time. Nice deep breath. You're bringing in all that positive energy. Bring the palms together at the very top. And as we exhale, bring the palms down to the heart center and we say, Namaste. All right. Thank you for practicing yoga with me. Now this brings us to the third and final section of the broadcast. I'm sure I'm not exposed here. And this is where we're going to be doing I'm going to lead you through a guided meditation. All right. Sure. Good morning. Now I want you to come into a nice, comfortable seated position. If you're sitting in the chair, go ahead and take your shoes off and just kind of let your feet go flat on the floor. Make sure your back is straight. And to get ourselves centered and aligned, let's go ahead and take 3 deep breaths. Inhaling through your nose. And exhaling through your mouth. Inhaling through your nose. And exhaling through your mouth. One more time, nice deep breath. Inhaling through your nose. This time as you exhale, go ahead and close your eyes. And let your breath return to its natural rhythm. The natural flow in and out. Now I want you to imagine that there's a divine light, and it's located 3 feet above the crown of your head. And it's asking for permission to enter into your space. And I want you to verbally, mentally, give itself a permission by saying the words yes. And once you do that, I want you to imagine that divine light coming in through the crown of your head and just making its way through your body, slowly washing away stresses and strains, any worries, anxieties, anything that's no longer serving you. Just let it wash away. Imagine that light working its way down to your neck and down your shoulders. Again, just easing all the stress and strain as you relax those shoulders. Now imagine light going down your arms, down to the elbows, and all the way out to your fingers. Now imagine this light working its way in your torso, starting at the top of your chest and your upper back. Just working its way down to the mid-back, your abdominals, the low back, and your waist. Take your time. If there's any areas that need special attention, just imagine the light just hanging out there, just washing away anything that's no longer serving you. Imagine this light working its way down your legs, to your knees, going all the way down to your ankles, and then through your toes. Now from the bottom of your foot, imagine this light working its way through the floor all the way down to Mother Earth. And at the core, Mother Earth is wrapping itself around the core. And then like a trampoline, the light bounces all the way back up, all the way up through your feet, through your ankles, your knees, your waist. Make its way all the way up so that you're connected from above and below. Breathe into this new space, this new connection. Now imagine this light coming out through your heart center and making its way around your body, just covering your body like a bubble. Now imagine this light filling the room that you're in, the building that you're in, the city, the state, the country, the continent, and the whole world. Breathe into this connection. Now to bring your awareness back, we're going to take 3 deep breaths. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling again and exhaling. One more time, inhaling in. And this time, as you exhale, go ahead and open up your eyes as you release, relax, return, refreshed, and calm. You've done something good for yourself today. All right, thank you for taking the time to meditate with me again. That's the ABC, Always Be Connected meditation. At any time throughout the day, if you're feeling any kind of disconnect from yourself, from society, or anything that's worrying you or stressing you, just give it to the divine light and let it just wash it away for you. Again, if this information that you've seen today has been helpful, share this with your family and your friends. Sharing is caring. And by the way, I'm alluding to a lot of things that I've done before. So if you missed any of my broadcasts, you can find them all on my YouTube channel. Just search for Pia McAdams, and you'll see everything that I've been talking about up until this point. And I want to thank you again for watching today. And remember, until the next time, be uniquely you. Bye.